have it recorded, got quorum. We'll do the oath of office for the returning board members. You guys want a picture or?
It's only me. Sean's not here.
I'm ready.
You take a picture of me and Sean.
Let's do the oath.
Do I need to like stay?
Where do you want them? By the flag, by the wall, where do you want them?
Flag. We'll get out of the
Like
way.
use the flag.
It's always good to have a flag in it.
Take your shades. I kicked it, I didn't mean to. Raise your right hand. Then you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of South Dakota, and that you will faithfully and impartially perform your duties as a member of the school board of the Madison Central School District, Lake County, South Dakota, to the best of your ability, in accordance with the laws now in effect and hereafter being enacted during your continuance in said office or until your successors elected and qualified. So, you sign on your oath. It's your same previous oath.
Mitch is keeping a running history now.
Yeah, where you sign on current oaths. That's kind of fun.
There you go.
Thank you. And we'll swear in Sean at the next meeting.
Welcome, Mrs. Thompson, to the Board of Education.
Is that good, Chuck?
I'm good.
Then at this time, we take nominations for board president.
I would nominate Tom Farrell.
I'll second that.
We actually don't need a second.
I'll third it.
Third it. If there's other nominations, we can take those. If there's not a nomination, we can take a motion that nominations cease and unanimous ballot be cast.
I'll move that nomination cease.
Is there a second on that?
Second.
I'm making notes, folks.
All in favor?
Aye.
Goes around, comes around.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
All right, then on to the
That's gavel back.
motion.
Short-lived.
Motion for nominations and election of a vice president.
I'd like to nominate Tammy Sims for vice president.
And we do have her permission.
Oh, yeah.
We do have an email from her this morning saying that that is okay, so.
Okay.
This isn't because she missed. So we have a nomination in place. Would anyone wish to make a or other nominations, I guess, would be. Hearing none, would somebody be interested in making a motion that nominations cease and we have the unanimous ballot for Tammy?
Would move to do that.
Okay. Mrs. Thompson moves that we cast a unanimous ballot. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Moore. Any further questions, discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of casting a unanimous ballot for Mrs. Sims to be the vice president, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Declare that we now have a president and a vice president. Item number 6, approval of agenda. We have a couple of items that we would like to change on the agenda. First of all, we have no request to hire. That has been asked to be removed of that. And also, we have a change in the agenda that item 29 is not going to be an executive session. There's nothing for the purpose of discussion. And number 30, I guess will keep us in wonder, Mitch, what that was going to be, right? On there, giving you a hard time on that. So those would be the two changes to the agenda. Is that correct, Mr. Schaefer?
That is correct.
Okay, any then further discussion on the agenda? If not, I would accept a motion to approve.
I would make a motion to approve.
Mrs.
those
Thompson
changes.
moves to approve the amended agenda. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Mr. Hague. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Item number 7, personnel actions, reassignment. Things there, Mr. Schaefer?
Well, pretty basically what is presented to you is what, Kevin Goody as elementary custodian submitted his resignation. We pulled that request to hire, or she pulled it back, and so we'll be re-advertising for that paraprofessional. And the reassignment of staff is as explained there, and that was all part of the negotiations.
Okay.
And then, Tom Nielsen is gonna be, well, that's been on here before, though.
He was a colony teacher previously.
Oh, yes, that's what it is. From the colony to the 8th grade. Yep, sorry, that's my mistake. Other than that, it's pretty simple stuff.
All right, we have recommendations from the administration for the personnel actions minus the request to hire. Is there a motion to approve those?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Moore. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Thompson. Further questions, discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of personnel actions signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Declare those are approved. Hearing of a delegation, I think we're in the same position we were before. Administrator reports, anything you want to add, Mr. Schaefer?
No, I pretty much put it all out there in the first meeting.
All right, then, we've got a
Oh,
number.
Mitchell has one.
Mr. Moore is the vice president for the Prairie Lakes Education Co-op for this next term.
All right.
Congratulations.
And you were at the meeting?
I haven't missed one yet.
Good for you. All right,
Missed 8 months.
very good. All right, thank you, Mitch. Any other administrator reports? Then we go into a series of consent items. We'll do these lumped together. Item number 10 is the designation of the official newspaper as being the Madison Daily Leader. Item number 11 is our bank depositories, which will include Wells Fargo, First Bank and Trust, Great Western Bank, Dakota Land Federal Credit Union, and East River Federal Credit Union. Item number 12 is to appoint Mitchell Brooks, business manager, as treasurer of all funds of the school district, and authorize him to sign all the checks approved by the board, including our trust and agency and impressed fund checks. Appoint the board president as a co-signer of all checks approved by the board, and authorize Superintendent Schaefer or another board member to sign those checks in the absence of the business manager or board president. Okay? Number 13, designated bonded employees, business manager and bookkeeper, $100,000 each, activities director, $15,000. Legal counsel, Lammers, Clybecker and Brown, LLP, as our legal counsel.
We're gonna make
We
a
gotta make a
quick
change on
change.
that.
Slammers and Quebec.
Lammers and Clybecker, no.
Mr. Brown is gone.
Mr. Brown is gone?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
Where's the city supplies?
Okay. So it's now Lammers and Clybecker. Make that note in the motions. And appoint the business manager as authorized representative for the food service program, title program, IDEA federal funding application, and superintendent as authorized representatives for all other federal and state programs. Those are consent items. We can certainly remove any and discuss further, or we can have a motion to accept and move forward from there on those consent items 10 through 15.
Move to approve consent items.
Okay, Mr. Hague moves that we approve consent items 10 through 15. Is there a second, Mrs. Thompson? Further questions, discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of approval of those consent items 10 through 15 listed on our agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Declare they have passed. Another series of consent items, 16 through 21, grouped together. And again, we can have discussions as we see. First of all, approve the joining of the Associated School Boards of South Dakota sponsored emergency bus assistance pack. That means that if a district needs one of our buses and it's available, we can certainly loan it to them, or if we need a district's bus, we could receive that loan from them. As required by state law, publication of all of our staff salaries. Number 18 is our standing committees. Rob, you want to bring that up for just a second? Now is your opportunity to get off of any of those committees
And I'll do something
and
else.
on to something else.
As he has that. No dropping without.
Fine print.
I will accept on $20 bills any suggestions, okay?
How about Franklin's?
You get by cheap, that's cheap.
Those are pretty much what we had last year, again with our returning board as it is. Probably the largest change is we removed Mr. Lindsay as our ex officio member of the insurance committee.
And Kevin DeCurtis.
And Kevin DeCurtis was taken off because he no longer is employed within the district. I believe what Megan Blakey actually is his replacement
Yes, she is.
on that committee.
You have that?
Is it where it's on?
It's on there.
Oh, all right.
So I guess one question I had is on the title committee, we had Ryan Haig with a question mark.
Which committee?
On the very last
One
title
little
committee,
bit.
the last cell on the Excel sheet.
And that's who, Miss Kingery invites to the annual title review each year.
Okay.
It's a 1 year, once a year deal.
Yeah.
Right, but Ryan has a question mark behind him, and that's what I'm asking the question on. What does that mean?
Did you get an invite this year?
Yeah, last,
Okay.
gosh, I think I've been on it.
Okay.
I'm not sure why there's a question mark coming through. Did you not want to?
I'm fine with that.
Okay, let's remove the question mark then. Any other questions on the committee assignments? I think they worked fairly efficiently for us. I see there's of 2, but I don't believe I saw anything of 2, was there? Rob?
Oh, no, it's just the title of that.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Just didn't want to miss somebody. All right, so that is the committee, standing committee. Number 19, acknowledge Madison Central Education Foundation board members Jennifer Gross, Liz Avery, Rod Goldman, Lori Norby, Lee Threadgold, Jenny Thompson as our board representative, Bob Oz, Susan Hickman, Ed Fegan, and Deb Bloom. Our surplus appraisers are Brad Franken, Rob Hanemichael, and Kurt Herron. And item number 21, I'm going to ask Mr. Brooks to address increasing the board pay from 35 to 50.
Did you say 17?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I missed
Yeah.
that. Okay.
21 was my recommendation. As we look through what boards, the state law lets you pay up to $75 per meeting. Very few schools pay in the 30s. I don't know that there's too many. Most of them are in the 45 to 65s. In the past, the board had been paid higher than they have been, but I believe it's 02 when we look back. But the board took it back down to $35 because of the difficult pay cuts and stuff. So my recommendation is we bring it back. I think it was 45 prior. And it can be wherever, but I just put the recommendation of 50.
Can we separate that one, just because out of principle, I'm gonna have to vote no.
Okay?
This is a public servant, I can't
We
vote
can pull,
myself.
we can pull any, actually that's how you get paid, is you gotta pull it.
I know, but there's a
So
problem.
Steve has a recommendation, we pull 21 as a separate item.
We would just separate it, we can pull
Yep,
16,
yep.
20, and just 21, that's all.
So then our consent items that we would be considering as a part of this particular motion would be 16 through 20. And we'd have a separate action on 21.
And then on 17, the staff salary that we removed from the request to hire will also be removed from that
Okay,
document program.
okay. So I would entertain a motion to do consent items 16 through 20.
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Moore. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Nelson. Further questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of approval of consent items 16 through 20 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Item number 21 remains on the table. We would need a motion and a second.
And I didn't know, I put this in at the end just by looking through what other school boards are doing. So I feel it's more than fair. I think you guys deserve this. All the different issues we deal with in that, I feel strongly that we should increase our pay.
A
But
motion
as
and a
board,
second.
Do you have what the surrounding districts do?
I don't know.
I bet as low as, lower than, that's all.
Motion and a second. Hearing none, we move on.
Thank you, guys, for that vote of confidence and everything. That were worth that.
All right, items 22 through 25, doing again some grouping. I'm missing 22.
22 is the
Oh,
designation.
Okay, yep, okay, yeah, it didn't print
We had discussion
online, yep.
on this in the past. We brought, this is our regular meetings. So if there wanted to be a change in when meetings were held and what time or that, this is just the current meeting, so if we're going to change that, and there's discussion in the past about.
I personally like the Monday meetings. I would rather see it at 5:30 instead of 6:30. It allows me to get done earlier, and hope to see my family before they go to bed, the kids before they go to bed, because right now, get off at 5, I go home, I see them very briefly, and then I come back, and then I don't see them again until the next morning, so. I like a 5:30 start. I don't know how everybody else feels, but that's just.
Ryan saying that he would favor the 5:30. Steve, does it make an impact to you?
Matters not to me.
Matters not to me either.
So would you start bills at 5 then?
I would assume so.
Yep. Just wanted to make sure you understood that.
Should I pass out at 1 o'clock?
AM or PM?
Calendar.
AM or PM?
Yeah, well, it's all right.
All right, so should we pull that item out separately maybe?
We can
And
make the, well, okay, if you want to go on separate, we can do that, yeah.
would that be the best way
Yeah.
to approach it probably, since we have some discussion? Do you want to then, Mitch, talk about item 23?
So this is almost identical to last year. There's a PLE, Pays Lunch Equity, document that we have to complete each year. According to that document, we're 15 cents behind where we should be. The maximum we have to raise in any 1 year is 10 cents. I submitted the waiver to the state for the request with our financials. I don't feel that we need to go up the full 10 cents. But in this document, like we did last year, I showed what a 5-cent option would be to our families and what a 10-cent option would be to our families. Last year, we approved the up to 10 cent. That way, when we do get that document back from the state, they approve it, we can go with 5 cents. If they don't, we have to go with the 10 cent, but we can publish it right away and get it into our newsletter that sends out here towards the end of this month to all of our families. Any questions? I mean, yeah.
So then your recommendation would be that we approve both the 5 and the 10
Well,
cent?
up to a 10
We say
cent
up to
increase.
10.
Or up to the 10 and then?
That's how we worded it last year.
Okay,
We
okay.
can do however,
So then the 5 cent is just informational as to
Yeah.
what it may more
just
than
to show,
likely be?
just to show what it would be. Last year they approved it. I don't know that they approved 2 in a row, being that then we fall further behind the federal levels.
What are we supposed to do every year?
Well, what they do is they take our rate that we charge and then they put it across the national average. And in South Dakota, we're much lower than the national average, so they recommend us taking that 10 cent every year. But because our financials, we're a self-sufficient food service program. We cover all of our equipment repair. We did a few pieces in equipment this last year, and we still saw a positive impact. Where some schools can't do that, they have to transfer money in to cover the food service. So because we see a positive impact, we don't need to go up the full 10 cents. That's why I put in the waiver to try to make it be the nickel.
And what did you give us last year? They didn't.
We asked for a 0 last year, and they denied it, and we put it for a nickel, and then they approved it.
Okay. That's what I thought. You did nickel.
So my hope is that they'll come in around that same point.
We want to make that a separate motion then, or make that, the motion would read what then, Mitch?
And up to 10
Up to
cents.
10.
Up to 10 cents, okay?
It's a federal requirement, so
Yep.
we get the reimbursement. If we don't go up what it states without that waiver, we can start the
Yep,
reimbursement.
yep, okay, so then that would be a food service rate change of up to 10 cents
That's it.
on that consent item.
That's both lunch and breakfast.
Item 24, District Policy 2415, action makes official the district policies for the year. In addition, revisions may be made at any time during the year. That's just simply stating the fact that the district has a set of policies, and those will be the policies that, when needed, will be applied on there. Item 25, high school handbook. I think from what Mr. Shaw had said in an email to me, we may hold that back to get a little further clarification on the legislation that was passed and be sure we're on board. So we would not include the high school handbook, but we would include the elementary handbook and the technology student handbook as a part of that. Anything new on the elementary book anybody saw? Saw a few minor changes, looked good there. Rob's was very minimal, talking about the state's cloud and what we provide for our students there, and changes in dates and a couple of other very minor things in terms of storage of files, etc. So then what we're looking at is approval of consent item basically 23, 24, 25 minus the high school handbook, which we'd consider in August. I'd accept a motion and a second for those consent items. Okay, Mr. Nelson will give, Mr. Hague the second. Had to give him the distance, you know, to allow the sound waves to travel. So Nelson with the motion, Hague with the second, that we approve consent items relative to items 23, 24, 25 minus the high school handbook. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Declare those have passed. Back to item number 22 then, designation of official meeting time. We're in agreement Mondays, the second Monday. That is almost statewide school board meeting time or date of the month. And the recommendation of two of our members present is I'd like to see the time moved from 6:30 to 5:30, with bills being reviewed at 5, and that would be effective with the August meeting then. I would entertain a motion to that effect.
I would make that motion.
Mrs. Thompson makes the motion that our meeting time be changed to 5:30. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Mr. Moore seconds that motion. Further discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion to designate the change in time for our board meetings indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Declare the motion as passed. On to item number 26. We're doing well.
So we're gonna start that next month, right?
We'll start that as of August.
So we're going to get.
Well,
Don't be late.
My son's still in Texas.
I'm going to be here.
I'll be here,
Oh,
once I break down or something.
Okay, Mr. Brooks, is that yours or Mr. Schaefer's?
Mitchell's going to have that one.
Okay,
We invited, or we went through the list, and we selected 4 companies in which we sent out information on this. We invited them to create proposals. 3 of them proposed. We received 3. Mr. Farrell, Mr. Schaefer, and myself went through the proposals between pricing, the contract that they're going to offer, the language of the contract, and then references in that. So our recommendation to the Board for Architects is Gary Zay with Design Art.
Out of Brookings.
Out of Brookings. What then the process would be is this would allow him would be sometime this week to start the process. We'd get together all the information needed for him, and then in August we would bring back as much of a package as we can have completed by that time for approval.
so the recommendation then is that we move forward with the architectural firm of
Design Art.
Design Art from Brookings. All proposals were well done.
Very
close for the end price for that one.
good,
Design Art was the only one that gave us an absolute price. Everything else was a percentage of what the cost of the project was. And since we are unsure exactly what the cost of the project will be, we felt that the firm bid of dollars may be a better. The percentages would have put them fairly close, depending upon what the cost of the project is. So from a cost perspective, that was probably a deciding issue, was a firm cost for the project, not a percent of the project. Other questions? Hearing none, I entertain a motion that we accept the recommendation of Design Art for our architectural, potentially moving forward with the bus garage.
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Hague makes that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Nelson. Further discussion?
Just a quick question, do they do other bus garages or buildings such as this?
Yes, yeah, they have different things that they do quite, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And the ones we invited had all experience in what we were looking for.
Further questions? We have a motion, we have a second on the recommendation. All those in favor of the recommendation of Design Arc signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Declare the motion is passed. Item number 27, establish design and building committee for potential bus garage project. Might as well get on a roll, Mitchell.
This is who would meet with the architect to create, get the information necessary for him and then create the start of the project and the design. And so we have something to bring back for approval to the board. We had to think of recommending Mr. Farrell, Mr. Schaefer, Mr. Herron, the Transportation Director, Mr. Franken, Director of Building Maintenance, and then myself for that committee. It's open to whatever, but
We thought we'd not put you in a predicament, Ryan.
Brian, you're still our consultant, but for sure, we put you on hot seat. Well, one of the reasons we went with this group, and that doesn't mean that it has to be limited to them, but we need a core group of people that are available to make decisions on behalf of the district, and oftentimes in a timely manner. And that's our suggestion.
So we would entertain a motion that the committee consist of Mr. Brooks, Mr. Schaefer, Mr. Farrell, Mr. Franken, and Mr. Herron.
So moved.
So moved by Mrs. Thompson. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Moore. Any further questions or discussion? All those in favor of the formulation of that design and building committee signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Declare that that is our building committee. Set dates for board planning goal setting retreat. I guess first question is, do we want to have another goal setting retreat? Dr. Wagner would be willing to assist us again if we so desire to have one.
I think so.
He's quoting him last night, his dance card is open in September. I think, if we could,
You're not dancing very much either.
September's a good month for doing such a thing.
what is the first Saturday following Labor Day?
I will be gone.
The 8th, you'll be gone.
6.
I will be on a week-long trip to the cabin in the Black Hills.
Is this part of that honeymoon yet?
Yep.
Okay.
That's still going on?
It hasn't stopped. I'm
Come on.
2 months into this thing.
Well, then what about the next week?
So that would be 13.
13.
I'll be around for that one.
Okay, 13.
We're gone for the holiday and the following weekend.
Okay. And I think we get
Ryan
much,
says no.
no, Ryan,
13's good, 20's not good.
13 good? That look good as far as the district's
Let's
concerned?
nail it down, yeah.
Okay.
My boss doesn't give me that much notice.
You shouldn't be, well, I don't know, it's hard to tell what you'll be doing next.
8 o'clock in the morning?
I meant the white.
Yeah, I know. I have one of those too.
Not the leather.
I've had her a lot longer than you've had yours, so. 8 o'clock in the morning again, starting time. We probably, Ralph and Vince and I will have an opportunity to meet. We'll probably follow a similar format where we'll ask for input in advance, so we don't sit and gather all of that input, and so we can kind of take advantage. Jenny, I may ask you, because you had some very good notes from last year, I may ask you to just forward those to me again,
Okay.
if you would. And I can share those with Ralph too, so we can kind of pick where we're at. I think it's been very productive for us. If at all possible, I'd like to try to wrap it up that day, but I think we also will set an ending time of 1 p.m. at the latest also, because anything beyond that amount of time,
I think last year we had to get down to go to the Augie.
Yes, I was gonna look and make sure.
Right.
Yeah.
The same weekend.
the Augie Dog.
Ralph did it, yeah.
Yeah, the Augie Doggy left us, but he said he has nothing there, so we'll count on that. All right, so I'd entertain a motion in a second that we plan for a work session on Saturday, September 13th, from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., probably here in the boardroom.
Is that Doug open?
They'll be still there Sunday, Charlie.
I'm not sure. I think Doug opens the following weekend.
All right, we're on the 13th.
For you, it probably is going to be.
I make a motion.
Thank you, Mrs. Thompson.
13th, May to 1.
Yeah, second by Mr. Moore, whether it's stuck opener or not. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of setting our annual workday of planning and a retreat, September 13th, 8 a.m. Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
That does not coincide with Augie's homecoming.
No. Number 29 is gone, number 30 was a mystery, so on to number 31. Anyone want to make a motion on that?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Moore, you get the second, you're a little slow tonight, man. The motion and second to adjourn, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, declare the meeting adjourned.